Kevin Samuels, as the title suggests, misunderstood, a moral hypocrite. Now, here's the thing. Everyone, and I mean everyone, is complicated and full of contradictions. And Kevin Samuels was no different. But the thing was, when he would sit there and talk to some of these women, there was things that he said that was spot on. And there was things that he said that was just massively hypocritical. His whole philosophy on cheating, something that a lot of people bring up about him because he came across as so sexist. Okay? Just for better, for whatever. His thing was men don't cheat, they exercise their options. First of all, I'm going to be honest. That's bullshit. Okay? All you're basically sitting there doing is telling every man on the planet that we can do it because we have penises. That's what it really comes down to. Because, he even said in one of his videos, he's like, when we do it, it's this. When y'all do it, it's cheating. That's just the way it is. No, it's not. That's just the way your ass backwards way was sitting there thinking of it. And what I found really hilarious that every time a woman would sit there and look at him like the dude had two heads, hell, even some men would be like, bro, are you kidding me? He would sit there and say, what animal kingdom? I was like, wait. Are you sitting there trying to compare us to animals at this point? This is your example of, well, animals sit there and do it. Animals sit there and kill each other, and some of them sit there and throw feces at the walls. I would like to sit there and think humans are a lot better than that. So, a lot of times he would sit there and say that people would look at him as ass backwards, and of course they would sit there and try to call him out in it. He would be like, no, you can't overtalk me. This is my platform, and start acting like a damn 5-year-old child. Now, just to make this video doesn't come across as some sort of Kevin Samuel bashing, one of the things that you sit there and say was to some of these women, and I'm going to sit there and say this, and if you're one of those type of people that's going to clutch your pearls or be triggered, you might want to sit there and just kind of exit left at this point now because I'm going to sit there and say it, and I don't really give a damn. Also, this is not my way of thinking per se, but well, he makes some valid point. I'll sit there and say. So, basically, he sit there and tells someone because the whole criticism with him is that people feel like he would be too hard on some of these women and pretty much just kind of just beating them down and telling them that they can't have anything, which was never true. Okay, he would basically put it this way. Single mom with like 2 or 3 kids. Their chances of getting a high value man, somebody who makes X amount of money, is damn near slim to none. And he pretty much kind of compared it to a D student trying to get into Harvard, right? Don't get it twisted. Just because that was his most famous videos when he sit there and talk to women harsh, does not mean that he's not talking to men harsh too. Okay? Basically, if they're saying you want to get a hot girl, it's like they're trying to come in dealership and trying to buy a sports car, and you working, at a grocery store or something. Like, yeah, there's a possibility you can get it, but you're not going to get a Lambo working at Stop and Shop or Kroger's or wherever the hell you work at. Okay, the same thing. That's equivalent to the same thing where he would sit there and say to the women. And although that's kind of harsh to hear, it's the truth. When it comes to us dating, this is something he says, and I do agree. Relationships is about compromising and trade-offs. That is the bottom line. The world has pretty much told most people, and I mean men as well, that you can have it all. You can sit there and get whoever you want. That is a goddamn lie. Okay? And I feel that the sooner that people understand that, the easier their lives would be. And, people sit there and, even in the comment, I can already sit there and feel people saying, well, should you just settle? No. Because, it's not about settling, it's about getting who you want within your means. Dating is different for guys and women. Okay? It just is. When it comes to us guys, there's things that we look for that's not the same values as what a woman will sit there and look for. When it comes to us guys, we're looking for your looks. Your looks, your submissiveness, you being cooperative, feminine, and fit. Okay? And what he said was on point. We don't care about your PhD. We don't. We're not sitting there looking about how much money that you're bringing to the table. We don't care about your money. Okay? And the reason why we don't care about your money is because we can't spend your money. We can't spend your money like it's ours. So your money doesn't really do much of anything, you know? When it comes to us dating in society and men and women, there's gender roles. Most people don't like that. They don't even like something hearing that, but that's the truth though. So there was, just I know I kind of went off on a tangent a little bit, but there was things that he said that was on point. And people could sit there and look back at those videos and be all upset and be like, "Oh, he always sat there and disliked black women and things of that nature." First of all, you have to remember a couple of things. Okay? No one put a gun to those women's head and told them, "Well, you got to come on the show. You got to come on the show, or else X, Y, and Z." Okay? And I think, unfortunately, some of those women who come on this show probably didn't really watch the video or thinking that they were going to get the Steve Harvey treatment. Here's a joke that I always make whenever I'm doing my live streams and I'm talking to someone and somebody asks me a question or they say something. I'm just like, well, which answer do you want me to give you? Do you want me to give you the Steve Harvey answer, or do you want me to give you my answer? The thing about Steve Harvey is that he made a lot of money doing a lot of different things, but one of the things he was known for was giving out these false promises, hopes, and dreams. Okay? So that they're telling women that you can have it all. You can have it all. Think like a man, act like a lady. Now, there's only one truth that I will sit there and say, and I've said this a couple of times, and I'll sit there and say this again. And for anyone who is going to get offended, well, if you made it this far, then you might as well just sit there and listen. When it comes to us dating, how does this saying go again? Oh, date like a man if you don't want to get played like a bitch. Okay? That is the only thing that I can sit there and think of as far as thinking like a man, acting like a lady. Because 9 times out of 10, well, it's true. All in all, I would sit there and say that he was definitely a complex individual. You know, like a lot of these shock value or like shock red pill, whatever you want to sit there and call them. He said a lot of comments, and I think a lot of them were very calculated. Like even a whole, oh well, when men don't cheat, the XI option. When women cheat, they cheat. A lot of this stuff was for shock value, right? was to get people's attention. People like him, or people liked him, people like Candace Owens, and of course Andrew Tate, they all kind of rely on that. They'll sit there and say something that's so out of pocket, and you're just like, I'm sorry, what? But often people like that, again, they do it for shock value, and although they'll sit there and say some things that are out of pocket, they'll also sit there and say some things that are like, yeah, I can see where they're coming from. Oh, even I started recently listening to Candace Owens. Don't get me wrong, there are some things that that woman says that I'm just like, wow, I can't believe you had the thought process to say that. But then there's other things that she'll sit there and say, and I'm just like, all right, wow, I can't sit there and say that you're wrong. And that's the same thing with Kevin Samuels. Kevin's, he had that in common with those other two I was talking about. So I don't think that. I mean, granted, I don't think that he was a devil, right? And there's people still today that can't stand him. But then there's people, and what I find really interesting is that even today, people sit there and re-upload his videos. They call them reaction videos, but they're not really reaction. They just want to throw their video up there, just sit there and try to make some money off of him. And 9 times out of 10, they didn't really like what he said, but they know that his videos will still to this day get clicks and views. I mean, it's an accomplishment in itself when you make a video and you have 1 million views. You do a live stream, you have 1,000 people watching. There are only a certain amount of people in the world that can sit there and do that. And although not everything he said was correct or right or just downright out of pocket, I definitely had to sit there and respect him for his hustle. That is something that even when I started off, doing YouTube or whatever and going through it, and I would watch his videos, I'm like, bro, sometimes you're just out of pocket. But I always respect the hustle though. I always respect the work ethic, that drive. It's not easy to sit there and do that and to take the amount of criticism. I mean, hell, I saw a video where at one point he was talking to some dude and they were just threatening him from start to finish. I mean, this one person has so much of an issue. You would honestly sit there and think that at one point in time, Kevin Samuels went to this dude's house, kicked his puppy around, and was just like, ha 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 ha, and then just ran off. It's a very rare video to find, but if you find it, you know what I'm talking about. I mean, I think all Kevin wound up doing was maybe calling the cops on him. He was like, bro, I'm not going out there. I'm not dealing with that. This that was only one of the stories that somebody sat there and tried to come at him. I mean, I can't imagine you really pissing people off that bad to the point where it's like you walk outside, you don't know if you're gonna sit there and get a brick to the head or ask for an autograph or something. Anyway, that's pretty much all I got to sit there and say about the late great Kevin Samuels. I'll sit there and say. And yeah, I know a lot of people didn't like him because of blah 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 blah. Trust me, I get it. I watched his videos. I understand what some of the criticism came from, but I also understood where there was times where he was genuinely right. So I guess to sit there and really answer that question, yeah, it was a bit of both. There was times that when the game shows morality, it was very, bro, what are you doing? And the sad thing is that I don't even think that at one point even he believed in some of the stuff he was saying, but he knew it would grab people's attention. Now, whether that's a good thing or a bad thing, there was points that he said that just made sense, and people needed to hear him. You can call it tough love, whatever you want to sit there and call it, but there was times that he often wasn't wrong. Anyway, that's pretty much all I got to sit there and say about it. Let me know in the comment section what your thoughts of the guy. Did you think a lot of stuff he said was out of pocket? Was you a huge fan of his? Let me know in this. Let me know in the comment section below. I want to thank you for watching. I'll see you in the next video.